Awesome opportunity. Oh, gotta get the book, gotta get the book. Okay, hello. Welcome to a new vlog. We just had some breakfast and we are going out to sit in the sun.
It's finally sunny.
Yeah. But I wanted to update you on this before I finish it because I have a feeling that I'll finish it today. This is The Lover by Margeurite Duras. This is the worst cover ever, so I will insert a picture now of the cover that I really love that I would like to have in my house. Fortunate that I found it in a used bookstore, but it's like really a bad cover. She's a French writer. This was published in 1984. Basically a love story about a poor French family, and the daughter in the family meets this, it says, elegant son of a wealthy Chinese family. This takes place in Vietnam. The Lover is set in Cochin, China, the southern part of Vietnam, during the days of the French colonial empire. So it's basically her meeting this lover and their kind of relationship and their sexy vibes. Obviously, reading this in 2022, the colonial aspects are uncomfortable and problematic. So you have to kind of take that into consideration. Like with French writing, a lot of the times it's very beautiful. The French language is beautiful. French words are so layered. So in English translation, we were talking about this together, sometimes have like really, really long sentences and a lot of words because they're trying to, you know, translate these really special layered words that exist in the French language. There's a little bit of like a strange transition from reading like a Moshfegh book was like this to these like long flowery sentences. Written beautifully, so inside is an old bus ticket from probably the 90s. Would you say this is from the 90s?
Yes.
And the book starts with our main character, who is based on, I should have said that before, based on Margeurite Duras' own life. When she was living in Vietnam, she met this Chinese man and had a lover when she was living there. So this is based on her own experience, but the beginning is our main character on a bus. So it's funny that there's a bus ticket shoved in here of someone. That's what you get with used books. I love that. Yeah, I'm liking it. I'm kind of just indulging in the really beautiful language and some very, very poetic sentences. That's sort of what I'm reading this for. I'll talk to you more about it when I finish. I'm just gonna share with you this one sentence that I underlined. Kisses on the body bring tears, period. In the misty sun of the river, the sun of the hot season, the banks have faded away, the river seems to reach to the horizon. It flows quietly without a sound like the blood in the body. Okay, we're gonna go grab a juice or something and take a little walk, and I'll catch up with you later. Hello, good people of the internet. Good morning. I bought myself a tripod today because it was a necessary upgrade if I take this seriously, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to come on here and tell you that I've got about 15 pages left. I think I didn't mention in my last clip that the relationship, this sexy relationship, is happening between a 15-year-old and a 30-year-old. So that's an element I should have mentioned. I do think it's very highlightable in the sense of they're beautiful, sentences. So I'm enjoying that aspect. It has that kind of writing that you want to read out loud because there's something lyrical also about the way she writes. It's just very French, I feel like. But I kind of feel like that's the only thing that I really love about this book. It's just not my favorite thing I've ever read, and it's a little bit confusing the way she jumps around in terms of time. But I also do think that it's worth something to read something, especially if it's small like this, just for some really gorgeous sentences. For me, that is enough to say I got something from this. But yeah, not my fave ever. So I'm gonna finish the last 15 pages, and then maybe I thought, now that I have a tripod, I can show you my physical TBR, because I've got a stack of books here next to the bed that I usually post pictures of on Instagram and stuff, and people said they were interested in seeing, and I just haven't been able to set the camera up in a way that works for me. So maybe I'll do that. I just wanted to share also this beautiful mug made by my friend who I speak about a lot. She has made previously featured pottery on this channel, but this one is something new that she made, and you make so much in pottery that you kind of need to give away a lot of it, which I don't mind at all being on the recipient end of that. You got a hole in your pants, babe. It's big. I'm like looking right at it. So I'm gonna go and I'll talk to you in a bit. Ding! Our roasted cabbage is done. I am also done with this book. Done with it. Like I said before, not my favorite book I ever read. It was also an exploration of the depression of our main character's mother, and those passages of describing her moods or just her general despair and also numbness, I thought were really striking and really beautiful. The sadness of our main character, which I guess is Margeurite herself. She did write this book when she's, I guess, in her 70s or something, and from what I've read, she had a pretty bad addiction to alcohol. You see maybe like the beginning and her reflecting on her own sense of doom, depression, and she sees it in her mother, and then she recognizes her own sadness looking at photographs of herself when she's young. Beautiful descriptions of that. But yeah, in general, it was fine. It was fine. I actually gave another book by her to a colleague of mine for a gift-giving thing at work, which I told you guys about, so I wonder if she ever is gonna read that and what she thinks of it, if she does. I'm sitting here because I'm sat next to my physical TBR. It's next to my bed. I posted a picture of it on Instagram, and people were really curious to know what is in this stack, so I'm gonna go through it really quick. I don't think I'm gonna tell you too much about the books, because that would just take a long time, but just if you're curious what's on here. The Door by Magda Szabo, which I've been wanting to get to. Szabo was a Hungarian author. She passed away in 2007. Began her literary career as a poet, and we know Rebecca from Rebecca Eats Books also said this, that she loves books by poets, and I can second that and agree that I normally love that also. So we know she's dark. I think it's about two women, Magda and Emerence, and their friendship and the complexity of that. So that sounds interesting. Another country. This is not specifically books that I want to get to right now. It's just I don't have that many physical books, and some of them are up there, which are the ones that I've already read, and this is the stack of the ones I haven't. So they're not next to the bed particularly because I want to read them next. James Baldwin, Another Country. Ohad read this in Hebrew and really, really loved it. So this is my copy in English, so I would like to get to that. Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. Magical realism. It's the winner for the Women's Prize for Fiction last year. I'm curious what I'm gonna think of that. I think if I'm in the right mood, I think I can really like that. Human Acts, Hong Kong. I was going to buddy read this with Anna, but she just went ahead and read it. I mean, we didn't really formally decide that we're starting to read this together, but and then it was summer vacation, and she was like, babe, do not read that on your summer vacation, like it's so depressing. I loved Hong Kong's book, The Vegetarian. That's one of my favorite books actually that I've read. Will probably be beautiful because she's such a great writer. Also, people were so perturbed with the fact that I face the spines to the wall, and the answer to why I do that is because it's just a lot more aesthetically pleasing to see this than all of the different colors. For me, it's a problem. This is Idaho by Emily Ruskovich, and I want to say CJ also spoke about this. Maybe it was her Good Plot, Good Writing. One hot August day, a family drives to a mountain clearing. Something unimaginably shocking happens. An act so extreme it will scatter the family in every different direction. So that seems like an unraveling of a family dynamic or a family event. I love that kind of thing. So that I would like to get to. Maybe I should read that soon. The Fran Lebowitz Reader. Eileen Myles, Chelsea Girls. This is a novel, a piece of autofiction. Literary and art circles in 1970s New York. M Train, Patti Smith. Maybe I'll read this today. I just sometimes with Patti Smith I read it in one go, or I dip in and out of it, so this one I've been kind of dipping in and out of. This was a gift. Tell me if you know anything about this book. This Must Be the Place by Maggie O'Farrell, who also wrote Hamnet. I think my mom has actually read this book, or it's on her TBR or something. I know nothing about it. It's about a reclusive former film star that then decides to go live in rural Ireland, and why does she do that, and also some unraveling of her husband. Love dearly the person that gave this to me, so. Art as Therapy by Elaine de Botton and John Armstrong. This is nonfiction, a very art history type of thing, but more about how actually by looking at art we can learn things about our own life. Through practical examples, the authors argue that certain great works of art hold clues as to how to manage the tensions and confusions of modern life in 4 chapters that cover love, nature, money, and politics. So that sounds right up my alley. The Wall Creeper by Nell Zink. Rebecca also loves Nell Zink, and she said that she really likes this one, and that she doesn't know that many people that have read it. So I bought this, I think, towards the beginning of last year because of Rebecca. I'm gonna add this to my read soon pile, which was probably these. Lucy, Jamaica Kincaid. Read about half of this a while ago, and I don't know why I didn't continue. Definitely want to read that one. The Art Spirit by Robert Henry. Robert Henry is a painter. This was given to me by my mentor when I was a student, who's now a dear friend, and she gave this to me when I left school. And it's that kind of book that I think you can just open up at any point and read a really strong, inspiring quote. So I felt like that should be near my bed when I'm feeling uninspired or stuck. This is also probably in my next to read. Fake Accounts, Lauren Euler. Everyone loved this book. Internet novel. And Jessica from Jessica's Book Stack, who gave me this book, probably wants it back soon, so I should get to that one. Room to Dream. I showed you this book, I think. This is by David Lynch and Christine McKenna. I love David Lynch. This is his autobiography, basically, his memoir, that is written by him and her. So Christine McKenna is basically interviewing people about David, and then he is reading those and then responding with his own writing. So that sounds really interesting. There are also photographs. I love a memoir of an artist. Then we've got Rachel Kushner, The Hard Crowd, essays from 2000 to 2020. I've never read any Rachel Kushner, but I know that The Mars Room was really popular, and also Rebecca. I'm talking about Rebecca a lot in this because it makes sense that my TBR is made up of a lot of things that she recommends or just talks about. She loved Kushner's really short novel called The Mayor of Leipzig. So I need to read that ASAP. I saw this in a local bookstore, so I picked it up. When I'm in the mood for essays, I'm gonna go there. This was another gift by Ohad's mom. She got me Great Circle by Maggie Shipstead. This is a historical fiction. Also not normally what I read, but I could. But I have been seeing this. This was shortlisted or something for a literary prize. Now I can't remember which one. The Booker, maybe? If you know that, please let me know, or I can just do my research. And it's thick, so, and small print. When I want like a sweeping, epic story, I know it's about a woman that tries to fly the Great Circle, which is like flying all the way around the globe, and doesn't make it to the end. Okay, that's everything. I hope that was interesting for you. We'll see you later. So, I may have the Rona. Ohad is positive, and because we live in a studio apartment, it's very difficult to isolate from each other. I still am testing negative, but I'm feeling something. I just feel like it's on its way to me. So you might get a lot of like home content coming soon. I wanted to just come and end the vlog, this vlog. Originally I thought I was gonna read 2 books in this vlog, but I'm having a difficult time figuring out what I want to read. I picked up Fake Accounts by Lauren Euler, which I've spoken about before that I really want to read. And this copy is not mine, as I mentioned, and I want to give it back to Jessica. I'm gonna keep trying a little bit more today, but something about it, not that I don't like it, it's just, I think it might not be right for me right now. The other book that's kind of, I feel tingly for, is The Wall Creeper by Nell Zink. I think I'm attracted to its size, that it's this thin, skinny book, 165 pages, and some like really strange, weird climate fiction, climate disaster. It says eco-terrorism. This is gonna be a weird, strange one, and I'm thinking that maybe that might be a little bit more what I'm looking for right now. Oh, I wanted to say that we watched Don't Look Up yesterday and had fun. It was kind of like a romp, you know. Also wanted to share that since I've been in a kind of like what the hell to read mood. Also, I don't know if it's part of the COVID, but like I'm feeling like I'm having trouble focusing. I mentioned in my 1K Q&A that most of my channel is revolving around backlisted books, meaning books that aren't new releases. It's just more of what I read. Since then, maybe wanting to maybe pick up a book that I don't know anything about or haven't really heard a lot of people speaking about, I went on NetGalley Bedside.com, which is where you can request digital arcs of books before they're published. Really, anyone can use NetGalley. You don't need to be like an influencer or something. If you like to read, and especially you need to like to review books or like to leave reviews, because this website is just basically looking for people to read new titles and give feedback on them. I requested a few on here. I requested Pure Color by Sheila Heti, which is a book that I have heard a lot about, but I loved Motherhood by Sheila Heti so much that I figured I would love to read this one, and if I can get my hands on an ARC, I would be so grateful. And then I saw this book that I naturally gravitated towards, which was called Nevada. I'm from Nevada, by Imogen Binney. This is out by FSG on June 7th. A beloved and blistering cult classic and finalist for the Lambda Literary Award for Transgender Fiction. Also, I wanted to read more books by trans authors. Finally back in print, Nevada follows a disaffected trans woman as she embarks on a cross-country road trip. So that sounded interesting, guided by an instantly memorable, terminally self-aware protagonist, and back in print featuring a new afterword by the author. Nevada is the great American road trip novel flipped on its head for a new generation. I like a road trip kind of book. So I guess this is already, it says like back in print, so I guess this is not really new, it just must have a rebirth. Also some short stories. I thought maybe short stories were for me. This is called Animal Person, which I just liked the sound of, and I think the cover is really beautiful. I like this black and white cover. Stories by Alexander MacLeod. For MacLeod, the rhythm of our days is continuous, even relentless. Yet among its beats and measures, across the passing years and seasons, he finds moments of pause, sharp points of inflection, and flashes of clarity that illuminate our closest relationships and our most desperate needs. Animal Person sets off the full-bodied, fully felt experience of the everyday with true literary mastery. So that sounds beautiful. This is also out by FSG. I'll update you if I'm approved for any of those. And I will obviously start vlogging again when I start reading something else. I just am not sure where to head, and I don't want this video to be spanning over too long a period of time. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you're reading. Maybe you can help me. Enjoy your day. It's rainy here, so we're probably gonna watch a movie or something. That's it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye for now. Big love.